Hello, Tamers. Welcome back to a yearly thing with me, which is normally just being a grumpy old man. As the grumpy old man of the card game world, hi, get swiftly, I always bring up some points that Bandai should probably look into in the next 12 months or so, or hopefully the next couple of months, before we even get into the next round of things going forwards. So, I've got a few things here, and I'd like to start with what does Digimon the card game need to do in 2023? Translation errors. I do apologise, I'm looking at a script. Very rare for me, I'm well aware, but I'm looking at a script. The biggest pet peeve that most people have is the amount of erratas that we've had to have in the last two sets. And one of the biggest things that got people like, huh? Was when they revealed BT10, they had the actual correct terminology, which was at pre-release cards. But they didn't tell anyone this. So people were cracking packs at the shops to do pre-release, and they're like, why are the cards wrong? But then people were obviously cracking open their pre-release packs, and then they were correct. And a lot of people confused. So I think Bandai just needs to just communicate more within the company and say, hey, QA team, hey, translation team, hey, R&D team, hey, people who just put the text into the actual cards. Let's all have a little group meeting on a Monday. This is what we're doing this week. If we get all the red cards done by this afternoon, here's all the English, here's all the Japanese. If we have one person who can translate from Japanese to English, and that's your job, that's all we need. And that's the only issue we've had really within the last few months or so. We've always had a few erratas that haven't really been messy, but the last two sets have been pretty bad. And the main reason I say this is, for those who don't know, I do teach Digimon in real life. Not as a profession, couldn't get paid to do that. But when you're trying to teach people how to play a new card game, you always tell them, hey, read the cards. And Digimon's become the only card game that I'm aware of that you just basically look at someone and go you know what, don't read the cards, because that could be a detriment to how you play this game. Kind of in the same vein, spread too thin. If you may have noticed that Bandai has released a few new card games and is releasing a few new card games in the next few months. For those who haven't seen, One Piece is now a card game that has been produced by Bandai. They also produce Digimon. They also produce Dragon Ball, which is getting an online client, so I'm hoping that we also will be getting an online client in the next few months. Maybe we'll hear more on the 23rd of February. They've also released their own version of a Weiss Schwarz game. So for those of you who aren't aware, Weiss Schwarz is a company that buys IPs or invests in IPs and then makes cards around those IPs. And it's going to be called Union Arena, from what I'm aware. And it'll have lots of different Bandai IPs that are owned by Bandai, obviously, into one card game. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if they're all going to work off each other, or if they're all just random cards and they all just have abilities that work. It might be collectible. I don't know how it's going to work. But I have seen that Bleach is one of the last things they're going to do in the year. I think it's in April. So yeah, give me those Bleach cards. I'm happy for more Bleach in my life. They also announced a re-releasing of the Battle Spirit Saga. It's going to have a $1 million tournament scene. I don't know if it's for the first year, and then they'll see how it goes after that. But yeah, it originally came out about a decade ago. It didn't do very well in America from what I've seen. A lot of people did say they enjoyed it back then, but I don't think it sold as well as it needed to be supportive. And then, as of then, I don't think they've been able to do much with it, but they are looking to bring it back into the West. But that does leave Bandai very spread thin. So they could probably do with hiring more people, at least just to sort of look, I want 20 people working on this card game, I want 20 people working on this card game, I need 20 people working on this card game. Can I have 20 people working here? I need at least 4 QAs or 3 QAs per card game as well, so everyone's knows what they're doing. I need translators per card game. I need English translators. I need people who can speak Japanese fluently and speak English fluently. That way we know what's going on between each, or at least communicate between the two people correctly. Invest in more printers. So you may have noticed that we had quite a lot of issues with deliveries over the last forever. And the reason this is because a lot of Bandai's amazingness with how good the cards are is they're all done in Japan. So you may have noticed that the card stock is really good. We have very rare bad cuts of any cards I've seen. I think I've seen 1 or 2 bad cards in the nearly 2 full years that we've been playing in English TCG. And that is why, because their quality control when it comes to the actual cards is really good. It's just what's written on the cards is a bit awkward. But as you may have seen, the Beelzemon structure deck was held back a little bit because they physically just couldn't manufacture the cards in time because they spread themselves too thin. with the timings of the printers. And with more card games coming out, and obviously in English and Japanese and simplified Chinese, there's less and less time for the printers to run. And if those things run at a certain speed and you can't speed up, you definitely can never slow down, you're going to just have to buy more printers. So this is something that either Bandai needs to look at, or you start looking at putting a printer in Europe or one in America. And that way they're like, look, you have all our American or all our English stuff. Print it here, get it done. And that way there should be less delays when it comes to cards being printed. Just have to hope that the quality is good. And that's possibly the reason why people don't really want to like move cards out of Japan into like Europe and America, because the quality control is a lot laxer, to say the least. Another point is to be more inclusive. You may have noticed that we have 4 different continents currently involved in this. Europe has, and parts of Asia also play the card game. Oceania, Australia, New Zealand, they play the card game, as well as America, South and North. But as you may have noticed, when it comes to Bandai, they only really look at America and Japan, and now they're starting to look at like China, because they're starting to wiggle their way in there. I understand it's a big market, make money, do what you gotta do. But it would be nice as a European, I might be in the UK, but I'm still in Europe, to be able to enter some of these competitions, especially the ones where like, you can go on like a team of 5, you can try and battle the best tamer around, you can do the best, and if you all do well, you get like lots of money, or you get a little bit of money. It's not about the money, it's just being able to be inclusive. It's just I want to be able to play, I want to have this, I want to either be a contestant, or I'd like to be the best tamer, because I'm not really the best tamer, but I'd like the idea of being able to essentially work with Bandai. As a content creator myself, not be doing so well, but as a content creator, I want to work with Bandai either in something like that, or hosting or casting for a tournament in my region. Obviously, as I am European, we have had things happening in the UK as well as in Europe. It'd be quite nice to be able to go there, join in with my fellow Digimon players, or casters, or judges, or therefore and just do it. And we all know the reason you're coming back is because you like the sound of my voice. So get that out there. I'm a sexy voicey man. Premium Bandai. Something else that I'd like to be more inclusive with. Spread the love to Europe a bit more. I know that you do sort of say it every time you post something like, oh, we get this new product coming out. We're going to send it to all our distributors. That might be true, but they don't always make it here. It's really annoying when a product like falls through and we have no idea about it, and we could have essentially brought it from someone in America, paid like an extra bit for the postage and get it back here, rather than having to wait till it all sells out, and then you're having to pay like £300 for a product that should have cost you maybe £150. It would be nice if maybe Premium Bandai could turn up here. I know that Bandai has a store in the UK now that sells its models, so it would be nice if we were to get the card game through there. Maybe. Just maybe. Better scene. Bandai should know by now that we all love playing this card game, and a lot of us who do play the card game are quite competitive. I think it's one of the very few games I've ever played where there's no casual scene to a degree, because of how the game is structured currently. When it gets older, I can see there being older formats, and then maybe side formats. They've already said there's 20 things they can class as alternative formats, but for the most part, people don't play them just because it's kind of awkward, and there's already best decks of that format, so it makes no sense to play anything other than those best decks, because it's still competitive. But they could redo spreading out more, and obviously as 2023 comes over the horizon, it'd be nice to see them actually go hey, look, traveling's a bit easier now. In real life, events are more of a thing. We've been watching other countries do tournaments. We've been looking at other companies do their tournaments, and we've seen that, hey, Yu-Gi-Oh's been doing really well with spreading out their tournaments, 3 or 4 different ones a month. Pokemon's been doing 3 or 4 different tournaments a month. It feels like they've been doing 3 or 4 different tournaments a month. We'd also like to be able to spread that out as well. Now in North America, from what I can see, Ultimate Cup does have 3 events per season. So it's normally March, and then July, and then October-ish. There's wiggle room, but I feel like that's them, because I think April, August, and then November is normally regional cup. So it would be nice if America's obviously get 3 of each, which obviously is so big, I understand that. But it'd be nice if Europe was also looked at as hey, you actually are quite a big area. You do go from here to there. Not necessarily the same size as America, but it'd be nice to say hey, look, there's basically the same amount of players in this region as this region. It'd be nice if you could offer us the same amount of prizings. because it's really awkward when you're trying to get a playset of things when you only get a chance to play 3 of them. Whereas in America, you get a chance to play 9 of them. It's a bit awkward in comparison. So it'd be nice if they would do like, hey, look, we'll do 1 in the UK, we'll do 1 in Germany, we'll do 1 in Italy, and then for July they'll go, we'll do 1 in France, we'll do 1 in Spain, and we'll do 1 in Switzerland. And then in November, they'll go, oh, we'll do, October, they'll go, oh, we'll do 1 in the UK, we'll do 1 in Germany, and we'll do 1 in Spain. Just for argument's sake. And then the finals, they'll just randomly go like, look, we'll hold it in such and such a place that didn't have it held in the last rotation. So let's say Italy. So Italy gets to have the finals that year. And then after that, the person who wins, they go like, hey, look, you're from, let's say, Hungary. Hey, look, you won it. You're from Hungary. As like an honour to your nationality, we'll hold it, the World Finals next year. Well, not World Finals, but the regional finals in your homeland next year, kind of like a lot of other sports do, which I think would be kind of interesting or quite nice. That's something they could do with the competitive scene. They do say they obviously want it to be a competitive card game, but when you only treat part of the world as competitiveness and then the rest of it as kind of a side thought, it's not that great. Again, like other people, I would love to be able to go down to a store championship and actually earn my place in the finals. And I think a lot of people are quite happy to do the same thing as well, just because we like the idea of competition. And when you're the best person in the room and you win, and the best thing you can get is a pack of cards and doesn't really show much for it, it would be nice to be able to push forwards and get yourself ahead, I suppose, by gaining points. Good points are always good. Points wins prizes. But to be fair, I think Bandai has done a fairly good job of this card game. As I said, quality of the cards is really good. Cardboard's got a good stock quality. Beautiful artwork. Just the text that has the issue there. 2023 is also the year of Digimon. It is the 25th anniversary. Now, hopefully, Bandai's taken sort of like advantage of seeing what's going on around them. And they've seen Pokemon last year. And they went like, it's in 2021, I think. 2021? I think 2021 was 25th anniversary. 2020, and they went like, hey, look, you did really well. This is what you did. It was really, really cool. I think we should do something like this. Looking at Yu-Gi-Oh! And what they're going to do this year, as in next year, I've been like, yo, you're reprinting all your old stuff. This is really cool. You guys are like, doing it properly for the fans. And then they look at Wizards of the Coast and they go like, you disgust me, you monsters. And they just threw them in the bin. But I do think that 2023 will be the year of the Digital Tamers. We will have access to the 25th anniversary show on the 23rd of February, which, fun fact, if you're in Japan, it's like first thing in the morning on the 24th. If you're in America, it's late in the afternoon or evening-ish, depending on where you live in America. And for Europe, it's in the dead of night, the day before we have to go down to play the last finals of the year. So, for everyone who's been watching up to now, thank you very much. Have a fantastic New Year, Tamers. Hopefully you get to have something interesting and a drink with your friends and just a great time tonight. Hopefully everyone's just going to chill out and hopefully have a good year next year. But we'll see you tomorrow for what I want to do with myself next year, and we'll go from there. So peace out and goodbye, Tamers. And remember, I have a very sexy, deep voice. So yeah, see you next time. Peace out. Bye.